Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yes, this is Dr. Soul Brother again, back with another show with it's laced with remedies to help cure your ills. Um, I hope everybody got a chance to check out my last show. I'm trying to do more shows on a regular basis, but you do what you can. And please, anybody out there, I'm urging you, help me get a link where I can talk to different people on my show. I want to be able to do that. But look, I want to address an issue at hand. We just had the Essence Festival in New Orleans, or some people say New Orleans, Louisiana. While I've never been, and I've known about it since the 90s, I've never been, but it sounds like an event where we get a chance to enjoy ourselves and enjoy each other and bask in Black American culture. However, I understand that the festival that we just had the other day, there are some people who were feeling a certain way about it. And even though I wasn't there and I said I've never attended, I can understand why, and I think we need to address it. First of all, the I'm going to address Essence Magazine. Essence Magazine, back in the day, the editor was Susan Taylor, a New York born and raised woman. This sister, while American born and raised, does not have roots here in these United States. She has island roots. Mother from Trinidad, father from St. Kitts, I believe. So she has no roots here, but she's familiar with Black American culture and grew up in it. I'm bringing this up to make a point. It's interesting to note that the person who's over Essence Magazine is an African born person, just like the person who's over the festival is African, I believe Nigerian. Um, we have a problem. And it wouldn't be a problem by virtue of the fact that you're not an American. The problem is when you disrespect the culture and the heritage that was birthed in the soil, on the soil of these United States. That's the problem. Now, I'm going to bring up something that a lot of people seem to keep overlooking, but I'm going to deal with this. Susan Taylor, Esther Rolle, Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, um, Earl Graves of Black Enterprise magazine. These were American born folk with island roots. And yet, and yet, okay, let me just juxtapose Mr. Earl Graves, may he rest in peace, with Miss Susan Taylor. Both of them New Yorkers, born and raised. Susan Taylor, I said, one parent from Trinidad, the other one from St. Kitts. Um, Mr. Earl Graves, parents from Barbados. Okay, he has Barbadian roots on both paternal and maternal side of the family. And I'm very familiar with Black Enterprise magazine. There was nothing in Black Enterprise where he was bigging up the Caribbean over Black America. This is what I mean when I say disrespect. This thing, from what we understand um, at the festival, the Essence Festival, this competition between jollof rice and jambalaya. What's that about? Really, what is that about? It's very rude and disrespectful. I don't care what we say. And we need to understand something. See, I'm going to talk to my Black brothers and sisters throughout the diaspora. I need you to listen to me carefully, whether you're here in these United States or overseas. Let's get something real clear. If you're going to be in attendance or participate in a program that, as it relates to Black American culture, put some respect on it. Put some respect on it. Okay? You don't come in like some neo imperialist, because that's what folk were looking at. And this is what folks were pissed off about. Let's be clear. Um, I'm gonna get on my fellow Black American brothers and sisters for a moment. There's this thing that I've been hearing for a while now about how these Black foreigners, be they from Africa or the Caribbean, are always talking about Black Americans don't have a culture. Yeah, they're saying that, but guess what? They got that from you. They got that from you. Listen, I'm old enough to remember uh, Black Americans, be they in the Afrocentric circle or the Nation of Islam or the the conscious community at large. That's a common thread among them. Black Americans don't have a culture. Well, guess what? You are running your mouths either in their presence or directly to them. And what you did, you helped to embolden them. You helped to stroke their egos. Well, you guys have more African culture than we do. All that kind of crap. No, they heard your big mouths. They heard your reckless mouths. So what I'm saying outright is this is not to defend them, but some of this is self-inflicted. Period. Period. So folks need to put their big girl panties on and their big boy drawers on and take a step back and take a personal inventory and look at this thing for what it is. They got that from you. You did that. And folks need to start being honest about that. I'm telling you straight like that. You need to be straight up honest. Because so no, if they're saying that and they got that from you. That is not something that they got on their own. That's real talk. Now, the thing is this. What you end up doing, you make them feel comfortable enough to exhibit disrespect. And that's where we're at right now. This is exactly where we are. And so, in order to fix this thing, first of all, you need to embrace and celebrate your culture in this country uh, that has been influential globally. Okay? It's been influential globally. Um, and when I said it, whether it comes to the food, whether it comes to, because see, that's the other part. See, if you're not careful, traditional soul food, something that I partook in earlier today, but that's a whole nother conversation. And I say that unapologetically. For that to happen, you have to embrace it and reject this stupid notion that soul food is slave food. That is something that comes from the Nation of Islam and their rhetoric. Okay, that's the whole thing. No, there's nothing as this one chef, I can't remember his name right now, who said that Michael Twitty. He said soul food is not junk food, or is it fast food? And it's not. Just as anybody else throughout the diaspora can embrace their culture, their customs, etc. Black folks in America should be allowed to celebrate ours. Period. Unashamedly. You see? So for folks to come along and try to Africanize the Essen Festival, that's a problem. It's rude, disrespect, and out of order. And I'm saying going forward, we can't have this, especially in lieu of what's happening politically right now. We cannot have, at any time, really, we cannot have this. And to those brothers and sisters who feel comfortable enough, who are not from here, feel comfortable enough to be disrespectful, that day is done. We're not going to have that no more. No more. That's done. That's it. So you need to be put on notice. I'm giving Soul Brother, Dr. Soul Brother, giving you the memo straight up. That day is done, done. And to my American Black brothers and sisters, same thing. You need to kill that noise. Just kill it. Celebrate the history, the culture, the heritage that is here. So when people talk about, well, you're spreading xenophobia, this is not about being xenophobic. These are stone cold facts, whether anyone wants to deal with it or not. See, that's a problem that I have. Too many of us don't look at our situation in the light of truth. There are not enough honest brokers. You heard my show that I did on Malcolm X. where he embraced his Afro American identity. And with that came the customs, the folkways, etc. Those things that he was encouraged while in the Nation of Islam under the spell of Elijah Muhammad to disrespect. He could embrace it once he was no longer in the clutches, if you will, or the spell of Elijah Muhammad and the teachings of the Nation of Islam, that dogma. He could break free now. Well, we need to be taking cues from Brother Malcolm. We need to be taking cues from other folk. Oh, the other person I failed to mention was actress Cicely Tyson. She had island roots, parents from St. Kitts. Okay, she would have never done that. She lived to be an elderly woman. She never did that. All of the roles that she played were of Black Americans who had roots here. All those roles. She never disrespected the history and the culture and the heritage of America. But these folks who are involved with the uh, Essence Festival and Essence Magazine feel comfortable to them. But guess what? That's your fault, Mr. Black America, Miss Black America. You did that. You opened the gate for that. So there are those of us who are aware of this. We have to try to fix this as best we can. But I'm telling you right here and now, this is the memo. That day is done. So step back and keep your mouth shut and learn to put some respect on this. And if you don't, we are going to have a problem. I'm not threatening you. I'm telling you straight up, we're going to have a problem. We are going to have a serious problem. Because, see, what's happening right now should have been happening in terms of pushback. You think back to 25, 30 years ago, there was hardly any pushback, but it is now. And for that, I say, thank God for that. I thank God for some of these people. Now, some of you have engaged, unfortunately, in a bit of nativism that can be problematic and divisive. That said, that aside, it is good that folks get that kind of robust pushback in terms of the disrespect that is towards you in somebody's house. You're supposed to put some respect on it. When you don't put respect or exhibit respect, rather, you're showing a lack of home training, and that's antisocial behavior. And so you know as well as I do, if let's say a group of Black Americans that travel to Nigeria, the Congo, Ghana, or Kenya, South Africa, someplace, and had tried to superimpose, if you will, Black American culture in a African event, folks would have been upset about that. Rightly so. Same way, if a segment of Black Americans, there are Black Americans who travel to the Caribbean, be it uh, the Anglophone or Francophone Caribbean, Martinique, Haiti, Guadeloupe, Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, Bahamas, etc. Um, and if any of those, if a segment of Black America had gone to any of those islands I mentioned and tried to superimpose, um, for example, let's say in a place like Jamaica where they have um, Emancipation Day in August, and one person or a group of folk from America had tried to superimpose their things that, um, as it relates to uh, Black history and culture in America, and whether it be the food, the music, or whatever. In a situation like that, they would have been way out of line, and folk would have been right to check them. Well, it works the same way over here. Just as folks are encouraged to show respect outside of these borders when they go someplace, the same thing goes here. But guess what? In order for that to happen, you, Black America, have to again step back, take a personal inventory and recognize, yes, there is no shame in being an American. Yes, there is no shame in being an African American. Yes, there is no shame in being Black. Once you are got that taken care of, um, and secure with that, then we can go forward, and people will begin to respect that and respect you. But for far too long now, um, you have sent the wrong message when I said, or messages, when I said, well, you guys have more African culture than we do, et cetera, et cetera. What you're doing, you're stroking folks' ego, and also you're perpetuating a uh, a sense of inferiority as it relates to others. Let's just call it for what it is. A segment of Black America feels inferior to Africans and Caribbean folk. That's what you're dealing with. And this is how and why folk can have African takeover at Howard University. I think it was what, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that, on the campus of Howard University. African takeover? What is that? At an HBCU. At an HBCU here in these United States. If that's not disrespect, I don't know what is. But you see, they felt comfortable enough to do that because you opened the gate for that, for disrespect. You opened the floodgates for that. So to try to shut this down, uh, something like that has to be done immediately. So in closing, I want to make it very clear, whether it's the Essence Festival or any other event, um, Black America, you're gonna have to stand up and gatekeep things. And this is not about being divisive, like some people seem to think, but in order, like that song by the Staples Singers, respect yourself. You don't respect yourself, nobody else is going to. And so again, when I say this, this is not to defend those uh, foreigners, black foreigners who are out of order, but it is to say that Black America in general, we're going to have to do better than what we're doing right now. What better than what we have been doing? We have to do better than this. We have not been good stewards and um, putting respect on our own stuff. And when you do that, people will treat you a certain way. So with that, I'm going to end it. I don't want to be in here too long, but I'm all about the preservation of our history and culture in this country. It is a wonderful, beautiful history. And if it wasn't a beautiful and wonderful history, you wouldn't have folks trying to cosplay. You wouldn't have folks trying to be us. Trying to be us. So we must be doing something right. So put some in the comments section. Say what you like, dislike. Um, let somebody please let me know how I can uh, have a thing where I can be on live and talk to people. I love to engage people, hear from them what they like, dislike, agree, disagree, etc. As long as you're respectful. Because if you are disrespectful, I'm not going to tolerate this. I don't care who it is. You want to come on my platform and be respectful. You come on and be respectful. I've already had to block a couple people already. So, I'm not shy at that. So with that, I'm going to end it here. And as always, until the next time, God bless.